Hi everybody, Lex Gray here back with another video. In recent weeks I've been trying to figure out if I should make a new campaign. It's been a little bit since my Escabert campaign kind of abruptly ended. Kind of got tired of it. It was going for quite a while and the world building was getting out of control. I still liked it though, still enjoyed it. It was, I think, if I recall correctly, I was using mostly D&D, original D&D. But anyways, it did hop the fence, and now I need to start on a new campaign. I really want to, because again, I'm just making random videos about certain things I find and rules, games, but I want to focus on what I feel really makes this channel shine, and that is solo RPG adventures. Now, to blend comedy with adventure, I feel that we need to discuss Mystery Science Theater 3000. One of many fan favorite episodes is called The Final Sacrifice. It is from the 90s, and it is about a boy who discovers a map, and then that map is linked to a cult, and that cult tries to find the map. The boy gets caught up in the whole all the shenanigans, and there's also a drifter by the name of Zap Rowsdower. Zap Rowsdower is the most important character in the whole movie. He is a, as they say in the movie, one of the jokes, the Lone Rowsdower. He is a, like I said, drifter, nomad, has a truck, loves beer, has a mustache, has a mullet. As you can kind of guess, the movie takes place in Canada. So there are a lot of jokes in the movie, in the episode about Canada, to a certain respect. If you've seen the episode, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you have not seen the show, it's basically two robots and a guy make fun of bad movies. They a silhouette in the theater and they watch these bad movies and they make fun of them, they commentate over them. If you're not really, if bad movies or commentary is not exactly your thing, you might not like the show. It's definitely a niche, but it has a huge cult following, and the show is still going in some respects, different formats by the original creators since the 90s. Started as a radio show, I think, and turned into an actual TV show that was later picked up by Sci-Fi. So, the Sci-Fi Channel. The Final Sacrifice is known to be one of the funniest episodes. Up there with Space Mutiny and Manos and Hands of Fate. There are countless others. I love them all. And there's two generations of the show. There's the Joel episodes from the first half, and there's Mike Nelson the second half. Mike was the original, one of the head writers, took over as Joel left, and the two kind of departed, and the show went its separate ways after the show was retired in the early 2000s. Now, um, the Final Sacrifice one is with Mike Nelson and the two bots who are Crow and Tom Servo, Crow T Robot and Tom Servo. There are some other characters obviously in the show. The show is very family friendly. The sets, the cutscenes are the breaks, a lot of household items, small low budget sets. So this movie really fit the bill because it's very low budget. It's very campy, as is the show. So it's a perfect combination. It's a marriage made in heaven. So what I want to do with that is bring that into here, not with the set or anything. I'm just saying that the story I feel works well with fantasy. And let me explain. So in the Final Sacrifice, you got a character, Zap Rowsdower, who used to be part of a cult, and he escaped. He's been on the run. He's a nomad, doesn't have any friends or family. He has his truck, beer, and shotgun, and denim, like jacket, if I recall correctly. He's got his mustache. Again, this is the 90s. And then there's the boy, Troy McGregor, who is the son of I think one of the cultists or someone who stumbled onto the cult. The father was killed, and the boy was left with his mother, or aunt, or caretaker, or something like that. But he's very like he likes to investigate, likes to learn, read. He's kind of a bookworm. He doesn't really get out much, which is a lot of the jokes are centered around the kid. And eventually the kid runs into Zap Rowsdower. Destiny brings them together. They join to take out the cult, and the cult is led by this low-voiced guy. I forgot his name, but he wears black. He's got black hair. He has a suit and tie kind of attire, and it's cartoonishly hilarious. Um, So again, this movie was written for Mystery Science Theater, and I feel like I can easily adapt it into medieval or old Middle Ages, depending on when I go with dark fantasy or low fantasy, low magic fantasy, etc. But definitely in fantasy, without the '90s or modern day technology and equipment. So. I've decided to go with one of the jokes as the title of this campaign called the Lone Rowsdower, which is I think Rowsdower is on a scene after meeting a side character named Mike Pepper, who was friends with Troy McGregor's father, who is hiding out in a cabin somewhere, helps them with the map and figure out where the cult's trying to raise this hidden city, the kingdom, to take over the world. Very convoluted, but essentially, uh, Rowsdower is on a horse and rides away to save Troy, who's been kidnapped by the cultists. That's when the jokes kicks in. The Lone Rowsdower, which is the Lone Ranger joke. So that'll be the title of this campaign, the Lone Rowsdower, and essentially the character name. No one will know his real name. We do, because again, I'm not really spoiling anything because this is all available on YouTube. The Final Sacrifice MST3K. It's all there, nothing spoiled. But from the character perspective, the Rowsdower and anyone around him, I should say, don't know who he is, but he only knows who he is. I don't know if I'll share or adopt any of the other characters or adapt any of the characters like Troy McGregor, Mike Pepper, um, the cult exactly as it is, but again, similar. He is a lone wolf kind of character, which works perfectly on my channel because a lot of my content, I usually have one character in a one shot or campaign. Occasionally I'll do a party of two or more. But it's easier to maintain on from a solo perspective. Now, in terms of rules, what will work here? Well, that was this whole week. I was trying to think of what system should I use. Considering old D&D, Karen, Maze Rats, Iron Sorn. But I'm thinking, you know what? A lot of those have certain degree of rules and bookkeeping, so I went with Fate. Fate's always my go-to for narrative heavy. And I feel like this is going to be more of a more narrative than rolling dice. But I always enjoy, and I've talked about this mod countless times, and that is the D&D mod of Fate. So specifically Fate Accelerated, because Fate Accelerated has 6 of those approaches. They're called clever, flashy, etc. So they're replaced with the D&D usual 6 attributes: strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So I have a character sheet here made. I'm going to show you guys, and I'll show you his profile picture that GPT farted out. And I'm going to use a fate dice. I'm going to have the usual ladder system, -4 up to +8. It's going to be really that simple. I'm still debating if I'm going to do a hex style crawl or a square crawl, because I like to use the square sheets, or just do narrative theater of the mind on a notepad, jotting down what's happening for note-taking purposes. So, and how long will this go? I don't want to promise anything. I have an issue. I have a quirk on my show where I will say I'm going to do this, and I cut it short, or it doesn't last as long. So I'm not going to promise anything in terms of length, but what I am promising is that I'm going to start this campaign and see how long it goes. It might go for a one shot. It might turn into a short campaign, or if it evolves into anything more than just one character, long campaign. But no promises, no guarantees. But I'm in the mood to make a campaign, at least a RPG, solo RPG adventure based on the Lone Rowsdower. So let's not waste any more time. I'm going to go into the character sheet, which this is Fate, so it's very simple. You've got the usual 6 approaches that are going to be modded into the D&D attributes. So let's go to the table. Here are the fake dice. These 4 purple dice are going to be for the enemies, for the world, anything opposing roll. These 4 kind of transparent red dice are going to be our character from their player-facing roll. On the bottom right of the screen is our character, the Lone Rowsdower. As you can see, he is very scruffy looking. He has a mustache. He's not shaved. He has a mullet growing. He's got a worn out shield, kind of a buckler or a medium-sized shield, and he has a long sword that he's cupping in his right hand. And he has a cloak. So I'm going to use this notepad here to track details regarding each episode. We have the date I'll note when I record, notes for what happens in the episode, cues for anything important, and summary to summarize what happened in the episode. Then our character sheet is right here. This is the Lone Rowsdower. So let's go through this sheet together. The Lone Rowsdower, he's scruffy, weathered, brown hair, mullet, and he's large size. 3 refresh points. Strength is +3. Pretty much I worked down the line here as I thought how these numbers should go for our friend here. So +3 in strength, +2 in dexterity and constitution, +1 in intelligence, +1 in wisdom, and charisma is nothing. That is, in my opinion, the best matchup for based on his character from the actual episode Mystery Science Theater. His aspects are, his high concept is reluctant hero with dark past, which fits perfectly. His trouble is haunted by fire, regret, questionable judgment. His third aspect is knows the wild roads plus worst places, which again kind of lines up with the episode. And his last aspect is gruff, protector of the innocent, which has to do with Troy McGregor. He kind of adopts him unofficially, and they work together as a team. So he protects Troy and wants to help him and save. They do, not inadvertently, but they do save the world from this. And in the joke in the movie, it would have affected probably 1 acre in Canada. But in the narrative, they're trying to show that what they did accomplish was save the world from this evil cult. So stunt-wise, wasn't too difficult to think of any. He's hardened, so he has +2 to defend against physical stress, which is kind of shown in the movie. And his second stunt is seeing cults before, which he has, +2 when dealing with cultists, secret societies, etc. Which, again, I think matches perfectly with what transpires in the film. So again, trying to convert this to a fantasy for a solo play, these are just vague enough, but line up in a usual RPG sense. Then for notes, I just kind of note some equipment. I often use equipment as stunts, but ran out of room, so I just have scarred round shield, worn long sword, heavy cloak, and travel flask, which it's just enough. I mean, this is Fate. We're not tracking specific inventory items. We're not tracking like little memorabilia items or like what clothes he's wearing specifically. Just very vague enough, but still to include some items that would have significant impact in the narrative. So that's why I even bother to include items at all. Sometimes I just don't. It's just, oh, I'm assuming my character has a sword or has a potion handy. Like in the situation, consider if they are imprisoned or if they're free, like what do they have access to? Has it been too long since they've been around to a shop somewhere? Do they actually have anything on them? Have they been robbed? You got to consider all those things. Fate is very abstract in the narrative, and that's why it's one of my favorite systems when I'm in the mood to use it. So that is the character. Obviously no stress or consequences to fill out yet, but we'll use the typical bottle caps or poker chips to track fate points, which can be used for various things, dice rolling or modifying the story. I will do my best to use aspects outside of the character's influence, so environmental aspects, situational aspects, scene, world aspects, facts, basically. But this is just session 0, I guess you can call it, for the Lone Rowsdower. And I hope it has given you a good introduction of what I'm trying to achieve and what I want to do, bringing one of my favorite shows of all time, a specific episode of that said show, into this channel and then onto the paper itself with the dice rolling. So that is it for today. I will name this session 0 or episode 0, the start, pretext, precursor. And from here, please feel free to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Ring that bell so you can know when I upload videos. And it's always important, I mention this, please comment below, let me know what you think, and I'll do my best to reply as soon as I can. I'm in the middle of my busy season at work, so these videos will be very sporadic as they have been since New Year's. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.